G'day families, this is it, the end of the 21-22 school year. We certainly ended on a high. We had celebrations and concerts and fun days and finals, but the absolute highlight was last Sunday when we sent off the fabulous class of 2022 at graduation. It was a great day indeed. Now the cool thing about my role is I not only get to live in the excitement of now, but also in the excitement of next year and what's to come. This video will give you an update of where we are, where we're going as a school district. And to do that, I want to reference our Moving Christian presentation from earlier in the year. During that presentation, I shared 3 areas of focus. Stability. That all had to do with enrollment numbers. I'm pleased to say that our re-enrollment is a healthy 92%, and we expect to admit 150 new students. We're already 2/3 of the way there and ahead of where we were this time last year. All that to say, we are anticipating enrollment to be up around 5% next year. Sustainability had to do with our financials. Our leading indicators of net income and giving are both up, which means we are on track to end our fiscal year on May 31st in a healthier financial position than we began the year, and that's always a good thing. Finally, to feasibility. At the beginning of the year, we anticipated reaching capacity of our current facilities in the next 3 to 5 years. The reality is, based on current numbers, we're approaching capacity much earlier than anticipated, so we've had to adjust our thinking accordingly. And as more people want to join us here at Christian, we need to be ready. We need to be strategic. Cue the flight plan. Our strategic plan released last month highlighted 5 key initiatives that will be our focus for the next 5 years. The first of those was campus development. And one of the priorities we identified was to cultivate innovative relationships with potential partners to add facility capacity without increasing debt. Now I'm very excited to share one such innovative relationship that we are calling Phase 2 of our Moving Christian plan. This week, the board approved the strategic land sale of 4 acres on our campus to the Crossings Church of St. Charles County. The Crossings will then build a building to our specifications that we will lease back. This is a landmark decision for our school. I commend the board for their boldness. Now allow me to unpack the deal in a little more detail for you. For those that don't know, we have been hosting the Crossings Church in our gymnasium every Sunday since July 2021. They sold their campus in Wentzville and approached us about renting the gym as a temporary site for their church as they look for somewhere permanent. It's been a great relationship not only for the church but also for our school. Their church is growing here, and as they were looking for a permanent site, they approached us last year with a somewhat radical proposal. Could we build a church for us and classrooms for you? Now on the surface, that makes a lot of sense. Typically, when churches use space, schools don't. But schools and churches have different needs, so the more we thought about it, there are a lot of questions and concerns that arose, and the only way that this would move forward was if God wanted it to. Now we identified 3 big stumbling blocks that would end the deal for us. If any of these 3 were not in the best interests of the school, we would not pursue the deal any further. Our beautiful O'Fallon campus is about 28 acres in size. Original negotiations centered around whether we should donate, lease, sell some of the land to the church, and it became evident that selling the land would be most appropriate. And where would that land be? Well, the 4 acres to be sold are on the eastern side of the campus. Next, we had to make sure that the building design would meet our needs and allow us to operate school appropriately. The proposed building will sit adjacent to the current high school wing with additional parking out front. It is approximately 45,000 square feet. To give you some perspective, that's bigger than our current gymnasium wing. The layout is similar to what will be our elementary school. We have offices and 2 basketball courts on the ground floor, with 9 classrooms on a mezzanine level above. This rendering will give you a good idea of what it will look like from the inside. Now our plan is to move the middle school into this building, although there may be some specialist classrooms located here as well. Our final stumbling block was the terms of the lease. Would we get access to the facilities we needed? Would the finances make sense? Could we ensure the building would be secure and the church staff would be separate from the students? The simple answer to all those questions is yes. The terms of the deal are good for Christian. And the negotiations have been a beautiful example of 2 like-minded, on-mission organizations coming together for the collective good. So, What does having access to a multi-million-dollar facility for no significant capital outlay or additional debt mean for us? Here are 3 big wins. We can currently house 600 students in this building. This new building adds capacity for over 250 more to attend our great school. It also gives each section of the school its own defined space. Upon completion, the elementary, middle, and high school will each have their own area in the school that allows us to tailor our teaching and learning experiences to the developmental needs of each age group. I mean, it's going to be nice to be close together next year, but we could all use our own personal space, right? Finally, 45,000 square foot is a lot of space, and most of that is additional common area. That means we've tripled the practice space for our athletics teams. This means that more of our student athletes can practice immediately after school instead of fighting over gym time late into the evening. We also have additional spaces to host concerts and choir. And there'll be additional parking, which is going to be great anytime we have an event during the day. Our student drivers are like, yes, I won't have to park miles from the school on those days. Now, I started the school year by saying that God is moving, and He still is. He is blessing us, not because of us, but because that's the kind of God He is. But I didn't know He was moving like this. The reality is that this project would never have moved forward unless it came from God. There have been so many times in the last 10 months for it to fall on a heap. This project worked because God wants to use it to accomplish His purposes. I know that this announcement may bring up some questions, just like it did for me along the way. We hope to answer some of the obvious ones in our attached FAQs. Next week, I'll share a little more about phase 1. That's everything related to the move and next school year. Then once we get through the move in early June, I'll share another update with our community that will hopefully answer any further questions you may have. Now, you can submit your questions here between now and then. I truly hope that you are encouraged by this announcement. The future is bright for Christian, and I look forward to partnering together during what will be an historic time for our school.